Hey guys, so today we're going to address some of the issues, and it is Friday after the presidential debate that was on Tuesday, but Eda and I have been watching the news, and we think it's kind of crazy. We've been watching, a lot of these celebrities come out, and they've been talking about Trump, and then they've been talking about, a lot of misconceptions here. So we just, especially when we have so many Filipino followers, we want to clear a lot of things up. And the main issue that a lot of the, I don't want to say fake news, but we want to say kind of, any news is kind of biased. And we say this because they lean one way or the other. So you can listen to Fox News, and they kind of lean conservative. And CNN, and especially MSNBC, they lean very, very leftist or liberal. So you kind of got to watch both and kind of decide for yourself what you want to, take away from both. But you really have to be, watch both and kind of decide what's true, what's not, and listen to the facts. So we did have a debate between our two main presidential candidates. Now, what we do want to mention is that they are not the only two running for president. I do believe there are, I did vote the other day. I want to say there's like 5 different presidential candidates. You have Joe Jorgensen, which is the Libertarian. You have a Green Party, and there's one more, which I have no idea the name. I can't even remember what was on the ballot. In fact, I had never even heard about them until I even saw the ballot, and it was, it's so unknown. But in our country, to get on the debate stage, you must have at least 15% of a national vote that is going to vote for you or support in order to be on the debate stage. So, therefore, the only people with enough votes or support is our current president, Donald Trump, and the Democratic candidate, which is Joe Biden. So that's why you only saw the 2 candidates going at it. And to kind of clarify, you really saw Joe Biden, and he kind of had a lot of vague, things. He talked about he doesn't support the Green Deal, which is an act in Congress that talks about doing away with fossil fuels, which a lot of people think is a good thing, but he doesn't have a plan for that. And when we talk about taxing people and raising taxes, Obama tried this, and he said we're just going to tax the rich and we're going to tax corporations. And what happened with this is we had a very large recession in America, and that is actually when I moved overseas to the Philippines, which, yes, I moved there for work and stuff like that, but, and to make a better life for myself. And I also ended up meeting my wife and had a great experience in life. But, back in the States, it was not a good time for a lot of people in the Midwest and a lot of people that were uneducated, and kind of similar to what's going on in your country now, to where if you do not have a degree, you're not finding a job. And when you do have a degree, you find jobs that are kind of menial, to where it's minimum wage job and you have a bachelor's degree. And that was kind of what was going on in the U.S. with Obama. So that's kind of what Biden is proposing again. And then, let's have a lot of government jobs. And, I worked a government job under Obama, and it was not great. I mean, it was very racist. It was very competitive. And it was menial. I mean, you had jobs that the quotas were very low. If you privatized them, they would actually be more efficient. This is how our VA got backlogged. This is how our Social Security got backlogged. This is how you had people that, truly waited 3, 4, 5 years for veterans. I mean, myself, for my veterans disability, I waited 9 years, under the Obama administration to get a decision. Why? Because they were just backlogged, and taking care of the backlog was just not a priority under his administration. Biden wants to really kind of go back to this, but he doesn't necessarily come out and say that. He just says, it's just going to be great, because it was great then. And then you have Trump that he just wants to pull some punches, and he's very aggressive. So the takeaway from a lot of the debate is Trump looks like a bully, and he really does look like a bully as he's going after Biden. But at the same time, you have Biden just kind of saying a vague statement sometimes, even though he's composed. he's really not saying much. He's just saying, oh, I want to do this, but he doesn't propose any spending for it. And when he does say, oh, it's going to be cheap, we all know it's not. Because when we think about it, how are you going to pay for it? You're not. You know you're not. So it's kind of just garbage. And then at the end, when he says, one of the questions was about white supremacy. And this is where we talk about, they say Trump will not denounce white supremacy. Well, he has in many cases. And then when they ask the question in response, oh, the Proud Boys. Well, let's clarify something. The Proud Boys is not a white supremacist group. For one, they have members in multiple cities that are multiracial and multi-ethnical backgrounds. In fact, if you look at some of the pictures of the Proud Boys, some of what CNN has done is they will take a picture of, like, in Minnesota, and they'll say, oh, it's rednecks with guns, and that same picture has been cropped, and you will see 2 or 3 white guys that are kind of fat, one's really skinny, and they might have the beards, and they look like they're from the sticks in the middle of nowhere, and they're holding big shotguns and a pistol. But if you really look at the full frame of the picture, which you can see, and there might be 2 black guys standing next to them with a pistol and a rifle as well. But CNN doesn't show you the full picture. They show you the half picture that makes it look like it's only white people holding the guns and being the white racist people. And that's just not the full story. Now, and that's why I say you got to watch both news. And you got to watch other places too. Because it's, you can see a cropped picture and try to make your own decision. But it's just not the full story. So what our president says is, he says, what, the Proud Boys? Because he doesn't know much about them. And he says, what I say is you need to stand by and let the police do their work or do their job. And he does say, let the police do their job. And what the Proud Boys are currently doing is they're not going out looking for trouble, but they are going to businesses. And businesses have started to call them. And the reason being is because if you're in New York, if you're in Florida, if you're in some of these major cities, and you're a business owner, you might not have Riot Insurance. So if somebody is coming, like, the terrorist group Black Lives Matter, the terrorist group Antifa, if you are in one of these, areas where these people are rioting, and you call the police, there are not enough police to take care of you. They're not going to save your small sorry store. They're not going to save your small bodega. They can't save you. They can't stop them from rioting and destroying your business. Your insurance is not going to pay you back. Your life is destroyed. So what some of these small business owners have done is they have requested that this group of individuals that are volunteers, they're not getting paid, they're volunteers. They just love our country and they love their community. So it's almost like your barangay in the Philippines just comes in and says, a group of people just say, hey, I shop at that sorry store. That guy's a good guy. He gave me credit when I was out of the work. He fed my kids when I was looking for a job or when I didn't have one. He let me pay back, something, or they run a lottery, that helps the people. And they kind of just took a stand and said, hey, guess what? You're not taking this one away. And so this store owner has called them up and said, hey, can you guys help me? And they have. They've gathered 30 or 40 people. And they've kind of just went along and said, we ain't taking it anymore. And so they stand in front of this place, and when these terrorists, Black Lives Matter and Antifa, and all these rioters come, and they're not peaceful protesters, they're rioters. They're there to loot, steal, and rob. When they come to do that, these guys are there, and they stop them. And again, the Proud Boys are all nationalities. They're not white, they're not black, they're not Asian, they're all inclusive. Anybody that wants to stand up in the community and stop these people from robbing, that's who they are. So when Trump says stand by and let the police do their job, he's not saying engage in them. But he's not saying, stop showing up. He's saying just be there. And if you have the right to defend yourself in this country. So he's saying stand by. Just stand by. It's okay to show up. Just don't antagonize people. Don't start something. The guys in Portland that were, pepper spraying people in their trucks and stuff like that, that was wrong. And he admits that's wrong. But just don't start anything. You can show up. You can protect a business. There's nothing wrong with that. Stand in front of the door. Stop them from breaking the glass. Stop them from robbing everything in the store that you're trying to protect. But, you can't just beat people in the street. You can't fight back. You just have to, continue to be on the defense. And so, yes, he did say, he does denounce racism and white supremacy. That is number one. And we see this all the time. So, that's normal, 100% normal. And so when you see these people like Kevin Hart and other people saying that Trump's a racist and all this crap, that's 100% fake. 100% fake. Our president is not a racist. He cares about everybody. But he does care about the law. And he does require that you're going to respect the law. So if you don't want to respect the law, and people have the right to defend themselves, they have the right to defend their property, they have the right to do that. And they're going to. So if you can't respect that, then that's kind of your problem. But this is my little rant. And again, if you guys, disagree, feel free to comment. But also, remember, keep it clean. I'm clean with you. No curse words, no arguing back and forth. I'm always happy to debate, but also keep it clean. So until next time, YouTube, this is Scott, and always remember my wife, Eda, and have a great day. Remember, if you like us, make sure you click like and subscribe to our page, and have a good day.